All right. So when people say they want to go into space,
I want to go.
what do they
into
typically
space.
mean by that?
They mean I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going into space, man. I'm going up there. I'm going up there.
Up there, and generally they mean they want to go into orbit. All right. Anyone who has ever been in space.
They don't mean that. They want to go to space, man.
Well, okay. If that's the case, do you know how many people have left low Earth orbit?
Well, first of all, you are going to have to define low Earth orbit for me.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Because
I'll say it another way. All right, the Apollo astronauts.
Okay,
that left Earth.
Right.
To go to the moon.
All right.
Okay.
And that's space.
Okay, wait a minute. So there was Apollo 10, 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 8 missions left Earth to go to the moon. Not all of them landed, right? As famously Apollo 13 didn't. And Apollo 10 was just a dry run for Apollo 11. But those are the only people who have ever left Earth for a destination.
That's cool.
Every other astronaut, hundreds of them, are called astronauts, and we still say they went into space. And what that means is they went into low Earth orbit.
Oh, that's just awful.
And so low Earth orbit is, in practice, where the space station is. It's about a couple of hundred miles up. So the distance from Earth's surface to the space station is less than the distance from New York City to Washington, D.C.
Oh, God! Why are you depressing me like this?
I'm just trying to be honest about this.
This is awful.
Okay, so when people say to me, "You want to go into space," and because somebody's got some orbital tourist thing, and I'm thinking, to me, space is the large-scale structure of the universe. Thank you. Not boldly going where hundreds have gone before, driving around the block, as low Earth orbit indicates. Okay, so yeah, you can drive to Earth orbit in 3 or 4 hours.
Oh,
all right. If the road were pointing straight up. So NASA and others, I'm not implicating NASA uniquely in this, when they say we are going into space, that's what they mean. Okay? Now, there's a functional definition of space.
Damn, so SpaceX should be...
No, it gets worse.
They should be called Leo X.
Low Earth orbit X. Yeah, well, actually, they've got sites on Mars, and more power to them.
Okay.
All right. So I count that as space, personally.
All right.
So there's a functional definition of space. If you want to ask, have you been to space, whether or not have you been in orbit? And that distance is the height above Earth's surface, where you've left enough of Earth's atmosphere behind you that the atmosphere is no longer scattering sunlight. And if it's no longer scattering sunlight, it means in broad daylight, your sky is dark.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
That makes sense. So there's a distance for which that's it. And they rounded the number, so it's a nice clean number. It's 100 kilometers up, or about 62 miles.
Damn.
Okay? All right. So if you do the conversion. So if you get to that altitude, whether or not you're in orbit, you go above the blue sky. All right? The daytime blue sky.
Right.
That sky gets darker and darker, and there it is.
Black. The blackness of space.
It is. So you can have Earth behind you, the blackness of space over to one side, and the brilliant sun off to the other side.
Welcome to space, baby.
Oh, does that happen?
Yeah. Once you get past the scattered sunlight. Welcome to space, girl. What's happening?
Welcome. Relax.
If you look to the left, you might see a little something called the moon.
The moon. Yeah. Okay, check. We'll sign you up for the narrative.